This is a super basic tutorial for rotation animators. So the first thing we need to do is figure out which axis is which. So this is my x-axis, right? X is in the positive direction, going this way. This is my z-axis, going this way. And this is my y-axis, going up. So let's say I wanted this propeller to go around this axis. So I would look at my axis, and that seems to be a y-axis. So when I add a game logic called a rotation animator, so game logic used to specify rotation animation, which can be then assigned to dynamic objects. So I can place a rotation animator game logic, and I'm going to have it around an axis. And so and there's a lot of different options too, but the simplest one is just around an axis. And so this is my y-axis that I want it to spin around. So I'm going to leave it y as 1, right? And it said that it needs to be dynamic objects. So for my propeller, I need to make it animated. And then I can assign either a position animator or a rotation animator or both. But today, just this rotation animator. So let's see what other options the rotation animator has. So it can loop either none, so it would spin once and then stop. It could ping pong, which means going back and forth, or it can repeat. So if I want it to keep spinning, I would do repeat. I can do for time or for speed. So right now this is 1 second, it'll do whatever rotation I set. So let's just leave it at that. Smoothing is about making it fast in the middle and then slowing down on the ends. We're just going to leave that alone today. For the angle, so right now it'll only spin 90 degrees. So I want it to spin a full 360. So that'll be a whole circle. Angle offset we're not going to do today. Rotation offset not going to do. Space is relative, right? We don't want it to be absolutely right there. We want it wherever it is. So relative is good. So now to test it. So we can test by clicking animator test, or we can test the game and go as like a real person or a real little player and see what it's doing. But today we're just going to do an animator test. So it is rotating along the axis that we want. Looks good. And then we can escape to exit that animator preview. So you could do this with whichever axis you want. So for this axis, I wanted it around the x-axis, so I set that to 1, and I set y to 0. And so this uses that axis because this, once again, all the way back, is my x-axis. This is the y-axis, just like we did, around the y-axis. And this is my z-axis, right? It's coming out towards me. Z-axis, set this to 1, set the other two to 0. So now let's double check using our animator test, and they all rotate how we expected. So this propeller was easy because the center point is the pivot point, but if it wasn't, we could we could set it as unanimated. We could weld it, and then we can edit the pivot point to wherever we want, enter to confirm, and then set that as animated, and spin it around whatever point that has.